Well, hello there, beautiful watchers. Welcome back to my channel. This is Moonflower with another tarot reading today. And for today's tarot reading, I felt called to do a Starseed tarot reading for anybody out there in the collective who might have felt drawn to this or drawn to this channel and is either interested in learning about starseed origins, or perhaps would like some guidance in their own personal journey during this time of a very big wave of collective awakenings. And now, if you're new here, I welcome you, and I hope you find this content to be insightful, enlightening, and helpful for your journey. Any help or support you can give this channel is very much appreciated. It will support this mission of getting this light and love healing out there into the world. And in general, it's just very helpful for the spiritual community that you go out there and you learn more about yourself and heal too through divine guidance. And so with that, I would just like to say thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe and comment if you'd like to see more of these readings in the future. So now we're going to be taking a look at certain things. These cards right here are going to represent any healing or any aspects of wounds that might be coming up, and messages to do, because a lot of these wounds might come from previous lifetimes and in other worlds or in other star systems. So basically, to clarify, my definition of a starseed is someone whose soul has been around the block for a few times, and souls that have been around for a while, our souls don't die, and we can incarnate on many other worlds across space and time. The universe is infinite, and our souls are really not bound to one place. Well, when a star runs out and its life, fades, we end up kind of migrating. And one of the simplest terms Spirit put it explained it to me as was, it's sort of like when our own ancestors on this planet, on Earth, when their countries or their civilizations were falling apart, they had to move on to another place, another country, and build from there. And that's kind of what we do on a soul level. It's just what we see here on a microscopic level happens out there in the universe. So it's as above, so below. We migrate in the same way that our souls know to do. And we might come from other places, but really our souls are just continuing this journey from one place to the next. And that's kind of the way I go about approaching this. It's just, there's a lifetime worth of experience you might be healing from, moving on from, so you can move on to the next. And here's some things you might need to consider and focus on. And these cards are going to represent aspects of yourself that might be missing, or healing messages from the universe on certain things that are going to be showing up in your life in the time being, which is directly related to these healing cards. And now these two are basically outside energies that might manifest in your life while you're on this healing path and on your way out. So these are influential energies that are both, I would say, like toxic, but outside your control. However, since, we're all connected and our environment can actually shape us in certain ways, we might not always understand these energies are around us and how it influences us. And so we're going to take a look at outside forces and how they might be shaping your life or your healing experience. And so before we get into that, I'm going to tap into the specific collectives of star seeds that might be joining today, or or try to see which star seed you might more resonate or align with. So I'm going to be picking charms for that. Spirit, be gentle. Yeah, I'm going to be gentle with them. Spirit says you have very precious energy. Which star seeds are aligning with this frequency today, Lord? What star seeds? So right off the bat, okay. Orion, Mintaka, yeah, okay. We have this traveled from afar, possibly Andromedan, because those are the oldest souls. Definitely from an ascended star system. I got this feeling in my heart space. There's a soothing energy here. Hold on, let me get 3 more. What starseeds need to hear this message today? The button. I'm hearing the Pleiades. So we have Orion energy. We have Pleiadian. And we have Sirius. And okay, this is just confirming. So this is both Orion and / Mintakan. Do we? No, that's it. Yeah, so I've definitely felt that. So we have Pleiadian starseed energy, which is very, very soft, and it usually when it happens to the Pleiades, they give off a very like a magenta, amber, green, white aura, and definitely they're very empathic and deep feeling. And during this big collective shift, I've felt a lot more Pleiadian star seeds are waking up, especially like the younger versions. Maybe when I say younger, I mean the younger generations who maybe knew of a more pure form of the Pleiades and had ascended, but they didn't like hang around long enough. Like they're young and new in the same way as like a soul that just incarnated on this world is young and new. So there's a lot of very new, fresh energy from the Pleiades. I'm feeling this cool energy in my chest, very heart-based. So when we think of Pleiades, or when I think of Pleiades, it's like the Fae comes up, dealing with nature, spirits, and energies, and very empathic and deep psychic abilities, very deep feeling and healers. And we have Sirius, Syrian star seeds, a little older and wiser. Definitely a lot of psychic intuitive abilities, but are very of the material world, meaning that they attach to whatever planet they are born into, and there's a good balance if they are in tune with their intuitive intelligence, that they do adapt well anywhere because they make the most of what's in front of them, but they're more practical in the physical world and have the wisdom of dealing with it, whereas a lot of the Pleiadian energy is very much tapped into, I'm hearing experimental energy. It's new. The physical world seems brand new, especially on places like Earth where things aren't as free flowing as they might be in the higher realms. And then Orion and Mintaka, like these pairings are coming up a lot more. So I definitely see this big wave of people coming in during a shift. So let's see if these resonate for you, or if not, that's okay. Maybe this is a message for you to look into it, or just take these healing messages as they resonate. So let's see what these starseeds or you might have to work on. 5 of Wands. We have the 2 of Wands. I heard the phrase that your soul is preparing for an unearthly battle. There's a lot of spiritual healing going on. I don't like to use the word spiritual warfare. It's more so within ourselves, we have this need for balancing light and dark energies, and the collective is facing that. And because everyone is facing their inner demons, and it's then extending out to the war outside, which unfortunately means that there are a lot of people out there who are acting on their shadows, and they're choosing to let them drive their spirit into a very bad direction, which manifests as a lot of conflict happening. The truth is that there's not necessarily a spiritual warfare on the outside. It's within us all, and it's compounded because we act as a sort of how do I say this? Like a pack. We all move as a collective, whether we know it consciously or subconsciously. It's how do you say, the zeitgeist, basically, the mob mentality. We're all moving one direction. On a physical level, we see it, and on a soul level, we experience it and feel it. It's not just like, oh, this is good versus evil. There is aspects of ourselves that are taking control and getting in the way. And because there's more than one of us on this planet, it's basically creating a larger issue. It's a compounded thing. It's like, it's one thing to have one person who might be going through this inner battle or inner wounds, and having them affect the people outside of them. It's another thing when you have like 2 million people facing it all at the same time. That energy gets amplified, and that's what we see in the world. And one of the biggest conflicts and issues we have is internalizing outward battles, making it part of ourselves. And that is not to say, like, not concerning ourselves or praying for the people who are stuck in conflict or the victims of conflict. That is to say, be feeling helpless to what's outside of us and beyond our control, and measuring up to our own worth and sense of well-being. It's like, don't take the world on your shoulders. Be concerned for the world, but take what is meant for you to bear and bear it, so that you can help others bear their load or bear their burden, carry what they have. But you can't do that unless you take care of yourself first. And that's not a selfish thing to do. That's actually the most, there's a lot of wounds surrounding the idea of altruism and being selfless. Being altruistic doesn't mean being a martyr. It means you take care of yourself, fill your cup. You put the oxygen mask on yourself so that you can put it on your child, basically, is the message. Don't confuse selfishness with self-care, because it is a very deeply concerning thing to see what's going on out there. And especially older starseeds or anyone who aligns with the concept of an old soul. We are basically the mothers, fathers, grandparents of the universe. We've been around so many times, we know what to do. But we put that burden on ourselves to take responsibility for things that aren't ours, when the world at large is needing to learn that hard lesson and stepping up and taking its place to become the leaders, become the caretakers, the ones who form a more peaceful environment, a union, a way of living that is sustainable and loving, and not just constant fear and conflict. It's not on us to solve the world's problems or change it on our own. Is for us to show people the way by being that example, being the way out of conflict, being the peace in the chaos, being the ones who know exactly what to do. But sometimes you have to let the people outside of you make those wrong decisions. Like, if you're a parent and you see your child going in a direction that's dangerous, yes, you make every move possible to stop them, and then you teach them why that was dangerous. However, if you see them making a mistake and failing in something, you need to sometimes let them make mistakes and then come back to them and say, okay, so here's how you do better next time. And I know that sounds like a very simplistic way of boiling down what is essentially us witnessing a shift in global conflict and feeling helpless as people who genuinely want to help, as a collective of people who want to go out there and change the world. As starseeds, especially, the reason why starseeds incarnate here and sometimes um, is not only just to experience new things, but sometimes starseeds are called in for help. The oldest and wisest people in the universe are just called in to be like, hey, we have this thing happening here, and we need you to be on this timeline at this place, and with these experiences to share your own previous knowledge of when this happened in your world and help the community and collective evolve. That's a part of, part of the reason why it seems starseeds are called in. It's just old souls that are come in to basically guide people who are on a soul level, energetically still children. And now let me say something that might be controversial. Starseeds, old souls, they can still act like children. They can still be very immature and wounded. I will not deny that. And here's the reason why. You know how people in this world might be wounded and emotionally, intellectually, they get stuck at a certain age where they were wounded. That sort of delay in maturing on an emotional, mental level, and how even people well into their 60s or 70s might still have that same mindset and mentality as they were when they were 16. That happens with souls. And that usually happens when a soul repeats the same exact energetic incarnation over and over again, no matter which world they are born into, no matter what families they're born into. Energy is not coming from a physical place. Energy, once set in motion, will keep going in motion, and that's what our souls do. It doesn't matter what body we're born into, what family we're born into. When we have these energetic ties, this genetic and energetic soul coding, we're going to keep moving in the same direction until we don't, until we break a cycle within our soul and find peace and move on. And so there is a lot of almost immature starseeds out there who did come from other worlds, but they didn't start the next chapter of their soul life. So they were reborn doing the same thing over and over again. Their experiences never change. They never move on from that place in time where they were hurt. And so that's why it's such a very, very vital and key to the soul's evolution to heal. Because in hindsight, really, and what I've noticed from my own healing journey is no matter which incarnation I kind of look back at, this, the same cycle plays out, the same dynamics, the same connections, the same drive in a certain direction that takes a lot of time to heal and break away from. And it's not easy. And it's hard to take a practical approach. So this is really what I'm seeing is breaking away from soul cycles in a way is not as easy as you might think it is or might feel it is. It's very complex, and it's doable. It's not easy, but it can happen. And honestly, you have literally all the time in the universe to do it. There's no rush. And if you feel like this is something you want to work on, then absolutely, it is your soul's calling to do so. But I do want to put something in perspective to give you some peace. There's no wrong way to go about this. No wrong way to go about existing. Yes, it is better and more, I would say, influential on your spirit to go in a more loving direction towards yourself, the souls of others, and the universe in general, that is always a constant that keeps us going, growing, and evolving. However, when it comes to healing, there's no delaying this, honestly. You have as many incarnations as it takes. And I hope it takes the pressure off of you, because whatever you don't resolve in this life, you're going to bring it into the next, and you can pick up where you started. As long as you start here and are aware of it, that's the key, is being aware of what you need to do to heal. And when you start that, it will continue into the next life. You have so much time and you can do it, and it's going to be okay. And that is the most beautiful thing, I think, that I learned, is that if you don't get it done in this lifetime, you have the next. But the more you heal in this one, the more off the hook for the things you healed in this one, your next incarnation is going to be thanking you for, basically. Oh, okay. So a song came up. I'm going to try to remember to link it in the description. Galileo by Indigo Girls. That was a song that kept playing for me when I was doing past life soul retrieval. And it is a very beautiful way to look at it. It's very peaceful. No matter what you believe in, just knowing that you can do what you can with the time you're given, create peace within yourself. Those are the wounds I think need healing, is being able to carry what you need to save your soul, to make your soul right with the direction it's going in and moving forward, and taking those burdens off of your shoulders of those outside of you, because you can only help so much of the world, and you can only help the world once you first helped yourself. And that's the key. The better you are towards yourself, the better you are towards helping and healing the world. What are these are energetic cards that will help you align with your soul's purpose, a unique understanding of your healing, on what I'm hearing. The energies and frequencies that will help you align with your soul family, soul tribe, and highest good. Seek justice is something I heard. Standing up for yourself. Natal Hold on. I'm going to be speaking weird for a second. I'm picking up on my higher self, and she doesn't speak English sometimes. Seek justice for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Be aligned with yourself. Find that balance in your life. The path forward comes from the ending of one cycle and starting of another. If things have been working, this keeps coming up. I love it. See, we love it. If things are not working in your life and the universe starts basically tearing it apart, or it falls down, you let it fall, because there comes in the internal balance. The external balance will follow too. But sometimes justice is seeing the world as you knew it fall around you, so you can rebuild a new one as it is meant for you. Because the world as you know it might not be good for you. The world that could be rebuilt is something beyond your wildest imaginations. It's beyond the limitations placed on you by the world, by this paradigm. And it is quite possible it's something your soul already knows exists, especially if you come from places like these, that you know can exist, but they don't really seem to be happening much here. And let me give you an example, especially the Pleiades. What I noticed with the biggest issue I have been feeling with connecting to the collective of the Pleiades lately, because I do sit down and meditate, and I speak with them and I speak their language. The Pleiades speak through me, or speak to me through song and music and energy and dance and like literally nature spirits like insects and the trees. It's just their elemental purpose as a soul collective is to bring us closer to the divine of our planet, to heal the divinity of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, And the souls therein, connected to our soil, they have this very pure, loving energy that is so hard to exist on a dense world as this one, especially since we are disconnected from our own empathic bodies, our own energy, our own emotions. Let me just say, Pleiades, I'm having a hard time pronouncing it, tongue tied. The Pleiades, the soul collective, is one of the deepest emotional collectives that I have tapped into. Such a very pure, very delicate nature, and it's incredibly complicated for that type of energy to exist here, especially since we have a lot of what you would call dark empaths, or people who have more darker personality styles, or even just emotional wounds and projections. A lot of these starseeds are deeply psychic, but the collective of Sirius is a little bit more adept at dealing with the physical and grounded. I'm hearing the phrase, this is a very surreal experience. Yeah, that might be coming from someone who's either opening up to this or newly awakened. So the Pleiades definitely align with energies of I've highly sensitive people, and even people who might have I think when we think of highly sensitive people, we're like, oh, they're empathic, they're empaths. And it's like, yeah, people can be very empathic, but they don't know how to utilize that or what to do with it. Because a lot of people are not taught how to use their empathy or even process emotions at a very young age. That's not really taught very much. And I see a lot of people who have lower levels of empathy, or at least their empathic body is so cerebral or so highly tuned that it's almost as if they are not empathic. It kind of manifests sometimes as, I don't like to say it, but like antisocial behavior, where the amount of empathy someone takes in is so much and so high, but there's no way of physically or mentally processing that amount of energy. It overloads the system and the brain protects itself. So people can have the capacity to know or feel what others are feeling. However, because they lack the knowledge of how to regulate or how to understand their own emotions or what that is, it's almost shut down or discarded or even just not functioning properly. And that's not okay in today's society, to be at a place where we don't understand one of the most fundamental building blocks of an entire civilization: emotional capacity to feel, and what would be deemed as a more feminine aspect of nature, feminine energy. That feelings and emotions are important information and vital to our survival as in general, because it taps into intuition, into instinct, into something so deep that makes us who we are. And to block that aspect of ourselves is to block an, to block ourselves from our true potential. And the Pleiades are coming in to say, hey, we're going to teach you how to feel and to not be afraid of feeling. To feel, but to express it in a way that is healthy, balanced, and fair to you, that does not disrupt you or the world. And maybe all along you were right. It's okay to feel, it's okay to cry. And maybe the world was wrong, that you have to cover your emotions or push it down because it's not true to you. And it's okay to be that very deep feeling person because you're healing the world. just by you, even you sitting alone in your room and tapping into your emotions is healing the world. Let me just tell you that, because it's teaching the collective through just your pure actions alone how to treat itself. And that's how our energy spreads out, because the material world is very fluid and open. Our energy can extend outward. The people who are in our soul tribe or a collective on some level, they feel that because of that interesting aspect of being a part of the universe. It's we all are connected. We all feel each other. A lot of us are going through similar circumstances and experiences, which is why so many people can resonate with just one message, because we all have this aspect of ourselves we're healing at one time, moving forward as beings of pure energy. And so just know you're not alone. There's a lot of people going through this. And I'm going to look at the outside energies because, yeah, with the the open empathicness of the Pleiades, and especially if you're awakening to past lives or even soul lessons that are coming up, there's outside has more influence on us than we think, whether you're empathic or not. It just does. Um, Outside influences the world. So you might not know what to do if the world falls down, because you're seeing everybody moving in a direction, but you feel called in another one. And people are creatures of habit. If their world has sort of fallen apart, if chaos happens in their lives, their truest nature is going to kind of dictate where they go. And if they're ruled by shadow, they're going to run in a direction that is a destructive pattern of behavior. And if you're feeling called to move in a different direction than you see other people's moving, I would encourage you to do so, especially if it falls in line with something you have done in the past that didn't work for you, or you thought might have worked, or is just no longer something you can do anymore. And I think if you're experiencing something that you see others are, and you're seeing them move in a direction that you instinctively know isn't right for you, always check in with yourself and ask yourself, what do I feel is best for me? Talk to your spirit guides, talk to your soul, talk to your angels, whoever. Take a step back and be like, this is falling apart for a reason. What direction should I move in? Because I see all these people outside of me, or even people telling me where to go, and it doesn't feel right because it just feels like what I did before and it didn't work. Where do I go from here? And I think that's where this message is speaking up for yourself, seeking your truth, seeking justice within your peers or just the divine and the universe to work itself out, because that's the beautiful thing about karma and the law of attraction. If the further you go to move towards your soul and your truest self, the more likely the universe is going to be moving with you, and it has your back, especially if it goes against what a more, how would I say this, shadow driven collective might go in. An ego driven collective, there you go, might go in. So let's see what other influences might challenge this path forward with justice. You have the Knight of Cups. I see love and relationships, new relationships that or old relationships that mirror old relationships might disrupt this movement forward with finding yourself justice, or standing up for yourself, standing up for what is truly right for you, as everything is moving around very quickly and you're moving towards a positive direction. An outside influence that you have to be aware of is anything new that enters into your life, anything impulsive that either you might feel is right for you but might not be, or even an aspect of an old energy coming up that would keep you from speaking your truth and have you more run towards that direction. An outside influence of, I heard the word understudy. Someone taking a role that was once filled by someone else. Okay, yeah. And a repeat of an old relationship that seems new but is actually not. And I'm not saying an ex will come in. I'm saying that something that, or one of these people in that pack mentality of ego might show up in the form of a new person as you're moving forward and standing up for yourself. And that usually happens when we are ready to move on and we are moving in a direction. The universe sends in these old energies to ask us, so are we really moving there? Or are we going to bounce back there to where we came from? Are we moving towards where we belong, or are we just going to go back with the rest of the crowd? So it's almost like this is an energy of a final test of something, either in the form of a new person, a situation, a a I'm hearing situationship that comes in just as you are exiting from this and standing in your truth and your power, that challenges your conviction and your drive forward and your need to stand by what is right for you and break away from this collective. And you will know this because it will be very, very personalized to you. And I feel this is a very intuitive group of people who's needing guidance and might be influenced by people who might have good intentions but might not have the right answers you seek. And it's that one last thing that is going to be on your way out of whatever the situation is. So be aware of that. If you are influenced by outward energies, if you are very, very, desperate to get out of whatever's falling down around you and you want to help the world, there are still people who might show up to pull on your energy as you are walking away. And that's very, very much a normal thing. And it's actually a good thing to see because you have the universe reinforcing this new mindset. And that's the idea of healing from a soul cycle. It's basically the soul equivalent of neuroplasticity. Rewiring the brain is pretty much just as complicated and not as straightforward as rewiring the soul. And it will take time and time again of saying no to many people who directly reflect things from your past you might have once said yes to get your soul used to moving in a direction that is right for you. Spirit, is there anything else you have for my... I think one of the things that Spirit just wants to highlight, if you're waking up, don't be afraid. It's okay. You're just remembering something that you forgot, like remembering something from your childhood you might not wanted to remember, except your childhood was in a place with forest fairies or you were swimming in a deep blue ocean. That's just, it's the same thing, different worlds. Just think of it that way and you won't have too many hiccups, it seems, and you're not alone. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you visiting, and I wish you healing, love, good blessings on this soul healing journey of yours. And with that, have a nice day, my beautiful star seeds. Till next time.